students, welcome to the online classes presented by Southern Global School. I'm Mr. FARUK SHAIKH and today I'm going to teach you subject Social Science, Standard 10th, Chapter 20, Part 3rd, Social Problems of India and Challenges. In the previous video I was taught to you about the communalism problems which we have faced, and we are also facing communalism in our society. Okay, today in this video I'm going to teach you about terrorist. Okay, terrorism is also one of the biggest problems of the world. Okay, it is a national, not it is a worldwide problem that is not affect any one country, but most of the world's countries are affected by the terrorism. Okay, terrorists, they do not have any religion, they are not belongs to any country. Okay, but they are just belongs to only and only terror. Okay, so let us start today's third part of social problems of India and challenges. Now, terrorism is a global problem. The global means the worldwide. पूरी दुनिया terrorism से परेशान है. Whole world is on the tense because of the terrorism. So, in the 21st century, terrorism has become a problem for human society. It is a global problem. Terrorism leads to destruction of human rights, bloodshed, destruction, fear, chaos, violence, unrest, etc. Terrorism is spread the bloodshed, it is also destruct the human rights, destructions of the wealth, fear, chaos, violence. Although terrorism has no connection with any religion or sect, वो किसी धर्म से या किसी संप्रदाय से वो जुड़ा हुआ नहीं है, because no any religion allowed to do this kind of the violence for human beings, on human beings, to human beings. Yet by linking terrorism with religion, terrorists are getting indulged in cowardice and hateful act. Yet then also many of the terrorism groups, these terrorists are getting indulged or cowardic and hateful. They link religion with the terrorism, यानी कि वो आतंकवाद को धर्म के साथ जोड़ के बहुत ही कायरतापूर्ण काम कर रहे हैं to get sympathy from these some religious people. That is why they have indulged terrorism with some religion. Okay, terrorism is a hindrance in the progress of a nation. Terrorism is related to violence which openly violate the principle of life and let life. Terrorism is related to the violence, and because of this terrorism, it is a completely violate the principle of live and let live. यानी कि जियो और जीने दो का जो प्रिंसिपल सिद्धांत है वो उसका पूरी पूरी तरह से खंडन करता है. Terrorism is an organized, planned, and deliberate violent act. Means to doing this terrorist activity, they organize it, they plan for it. Terrorists are engaged in a violent activities like suicide attack. Means they tie bomb on their body and they went to the destinations where they have to attack, throwing bombs, hiding weapons, and using them, kidnapping, hijacking of plane, suicide attack, smuggling of narcotic drugs, etc. These all are the insocial activities are included in the terrorist activities. These activities like a suicide attack, throwing bombs, hiding weapons, and using them, kidnapping, hijacking of plane, suicide attack, smuggling of narcotic drugs, etc. In the history that we all know, that America's plans were hijacked, and by this plan, that America's World Trade Center was crashed. Okay, and this activity was accepted by the Osama bin Laden. Means he was a terrorist and he accepted, he did this. So these types of the activities are included in the terrorist. Now rebellion and terrorism in India. Now there's a two things, rebellion and terrorism. Rebellions means there is a group of the people or the some regions peoples, they are against the government, their own government. They are not against any other country, they are not against any religion, but they are against the government policy. And terrorism, so it is a global problem, and they are against their own country also, and also the another country. Okay, so let us see the differences of the rebellion and terrorism. So rebellion is a national problem. It is spread on the regional level against own government. Means वो regional level पे वो होते हैं, they are active at a regional level only, and also they are against their own government policies. It is carried out with the help of the local people, and local people also are supporting to this rebellion group. Development of state is suffering from problem of rebellion from rebellions is hindered, and because of this that region progress is also not possible, because they are not allowed to enter any government officers or the army or the police. Okay, they are not allowed even developed their regions too, because they wanted to their region their own, यानी को किसी के साथ बांटना नहीं चाहते. Let us see the second is the terrorism. So terrorism is a global problem, यानी कि वो पूरी दुनिया की प्रॉब्लम है. Okay, in which country the terrorist camps are there, even then countries also suffer for the terrorist activities. Okay, like we can give the example of the Pakistan. Many of the terrorist groups are there, their base camps also are there, but the many of the time these terrorists also attack on the Pakistan's markets, hospitals, mosques, public buildings. So what do you think, do they are belongs to any country? No. They are belongs to any religion? No. They are only and only belongs to money, fear, and to spread terrorism. So it is either against own country or at against other countries. It is spread at the international level. Now these terrorists, they are either against their own country or against the other countries, and it is spread at national level. यानी कि वो सिर्फ एक रीजन से for some province, it is not just only in one promise, one province. It's not fixed, there is a, they have to just only to spread the haters, the terrorism in some region. No, they are spread all whole country and also international level too. They may or may not get local support. Sometimes these terrorists they get support, and sometimes also they not get support. Development of countries suffering from terrorist is hindered. And do you know that our Kashmir is called the heaven of the earth, and yet it is not developed properly, because so many terrorist activities are there. Many of the time innocent people are killed by the terrorist, kidnapping. They also ask about the extortion money. So this is because of the terrorist activity that development of countries also hindered. So thus we see that rebellion originated from the local dissatisfaction, and there is no such restriction on terrorism. Today, India is fighting against the internal rebellion and terrorism. Now country India is also today fighting for both problems. India is facing both challenges, rebellions also and also a terrorist like a Pulwama attack. Okay, in the many of the Assam regions, Mizoram, there are the many of the rebellions peoples also are the rebellion groups also are there. In the next slide I was talking about the which are the rebellion groups in India. They are against the government. Let us see the Naxalist movement. They are called the Naxal. Naxalist movement. So inspired by the Chinese Revolution under the leadership of Mao Zedong, Tung, some Naxalites started this insurgency in India. Okay. So this is the Naxalite means this is the one revolution was started in the China under the leadership of under the leadership of Mao Zedong. Some Naxalites started this insurgency in India for the first time in 1967 in the West Bengal. सबसे पहले ये नक्सलिस्ट वेस्ट बंगाल में स्टार्ट हुआ था. Okay, and this is the free fire sea ideology is called a Naxalism because it is originated in a village Naxalbari in West Bengal. And these people's ideology, this fire sea ideology is called the Naxalism because this Naxalism originated in the village Naxalbari in West Bengal. यानी कि सबसे पहले ये rebellion activity was started in the West Bengal at the Naxalbari village. That is why who are the rebellion groups against the government, against the government policy. Okay, they are called the Naxals or the Naxalism. So they are following whose policy? Who they were inspired by the which revolution? That leadership under the Mao Zedong, which revolution was started in the China. With its beginning in West Bengal, it has spread now in Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Odisha, Tripura, Madhya Pradesh, mountainous and forest region. There are two major organizations which people Swar group and a moist communist center. Okay, so most of the many of the our states are affected with the Naxalist movement, Naxalist activity like Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Odisha, Tripura, Madhya Pradesh. Also, they are spread in the deep forest and the mountainous region. And there are two major organizations, the People's War Group and the Moist Communist Center. Keep in mind these two names. Okay, let me highlight it this. Okay, so why it is called the Naxalbari? So this fiery ideology is called Naxalism because it is originated in the village Naxalbari in West Bengal. This was originated in the Naxalbari, that is why it is called the Naxalism. And after the West Bengal, this Naxalism is spread now in the Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Odisha, Tripura, Madhya Pradesh, mountainous region and forest. And there are two major organizations which People's War Group and Moist Communist Center. These two are the major organization of the Naxalism. Now, insurgents in Northeast. Since independence, since independence, insurgency in northeastern India has been perennial problem for India. Okay, आज़ादी से बाद ही. Okay, this insurgency in the northeast, that is perennial problem. Okay, this problem is spread all over the India. Okay, after the independence, and our country get independence in 1947. Okay. So the northeastern India has been a perennial problem for India. The some factors which simulate insurgency are many tribal communities, hilly and forest landscape, landscape, mutual cooperation among militant group, international boundaries at few places, and indulgence of foreign agencies. Insurgents in north, insurgents means so doing some violence activity against the government, means after the independence many of the regions of the India there is a perennial problem of insurgency. Like oftenly, frequently they are doing the insurgency in the some region, and now this is the insurgency, they are not doing by this all the peoples of that region, but few and some people, and also the some collectively agencies of the world, the foreign agency also support them by giving them money, by supporting by the giving by supporting them weapons. Okay. So this is insurgency are many tribal communities, hilly and forest landscape, mutual cooperation among militant group, and international boundaries. At international boundaries, the Pakistan and the China, that both the boundaries are touched to the India, and both are not a friend of the India, both are enemy. We have seen so many problems have been created by the China in this year. So few places intelligence of foreign agencies, and the foreign agency also support them. Now let us see that which rebellion organizations are in the India, what are their name. So the first in the state Nagaland, the rebellion group is called the NSCN, National Socialist Council of Nagaland. What is name? National Socialist Council of Nagaland. This is the NCSN. Second is the Tripura. So there are the in the Tripura two rebellious organizations are there: KNF, Kuki National Front, and KNA, Kuki National Army. F and A you have to just remember: force and army. Sorry, front and army. KNF and KNA. KNF Kuki National Front, KNA Kuki National Army. Tripura, NLFT, National Liberation Front of Tripura, ATTF, All Tripura Tigers Force, TUJS, Tripura Upjati Jupa Samiti. These three rebellion organizations in the Tripura: NLFT, ATFF, ATTF, and TUJS, National Liberation Front of Tripura, All Tripura Tigers Force, Tripura Upjati Jupa Samiti. In the Assam, there are total four rebellion organizations are there. First is the ULFA, ULFA ULFA. That is the full form is the United Liberation Front of Assam, UMF United Minority Front, NDFB National Democratic Front of Bodoland, and the BLTF Bodoland Liberation Tiger Force. So these are the rebellion organizations in the Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, and the Assam. So these rebellion organizations have been struggling for a demand of separate state. So this is the all the rebellion organizations. They are demanding for their separate state to secure their own political, economic interest, or and questions of illegal immigration. So because of it, economic, social, administrative, and political system are damaged. So on the many of the boundaries state that many of the peoples are illegally immigrated and they settle there. Now to support them, this group also supporting them, and they are demanding for their separate nation for their political interest and economic. Means this is the region that Bihar, Jharkhand, Mizoram, Assam rich in minerals. So once they got separate state, and if they established their government there, so for after then they can use that land anyway for their benefit only. Okay, so this is to fulfill their interest. They are using the common people, they are using innocent people too, and they also indulge these people in their self interest purpose. Now let us see the terrorism in the Pakistan, sorry, terrorism in the Kashmir. Now also many of the attacks also done after that, about Kashmir was given the special constitution and special state, that not more now. So India became independent on 15th August 1947. Two separate states and the nation India and Pakistan were formed. Pakistan had captured some part of Kashmir after independence. Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Now, do you know that while we are looking at our map, so that Kashmir's, which is the head of the map, okay, in our map, so whole Kashmir is not a part of the India. Okay, most of the region of the Kashmir, okay, it is under the Pakistan control, and that is called the POK. The full form is called the Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Still, Pakistan try to capture its every now and then. जम्मू एंड कश्मीर वो अभिन्न अंग है इंडिया के. Then also Pakistan try to capture the some regions of the Kashmir every now and then. It has even foggy wars for this, and in every war India has inflicted the humiliating defeat to it. And many of the wars started by the Pakistan, and in every war Pakistan was defeated by Indian army, inflicted a humiliating war, यानी कि बहुत ही नामोशी पर ही उनको हार मिली है. Terrorism has increased in Kashmir after 1988. The terrorists have terrorized people by kidnapping, murder, bomb explosion, etc. And these terrorists, they spread terror by kidnapping, murder, bomb explosion to fulfill their motive. As a result of it, families of many Kashmiri Pandits had to migrate, and that is why the many of the Kashmiri Pandit have migrated from the Pakistan to the, sorry, from Kashmir to the some another state of India. Thousands of such families are living as refugees outside Kashmir. Terrorism in Kashmir is supported from across the border. Across the border, it is supported by the Pakistan and the China. Completely, openly, they are supporting to this terrorist. But while international organization asked them, that time they denied. And that is the reason sometimes also they are attack on their own countries too. The intention of the terrorists is to create fear and instability in India. India is determined to face. Now the intention of this terrorist activity to create fear and instability in India, यानी कि इंडिया में एक तरह का डर पैदा करना है. And India should be not stabilized. India cannot do develop work. That is why they are spreading the fear and these terrorist activities in the India. And India also determined them firmly. India opposed terrorism not only in India but also anywhere, in any form and at any time. In order to end terrorism, soldiers of India have accepted martyrdom. And the Indians also oppose this terrorism not only in India but anywhere in any other country, and India also supporting to the end this terrorism. And the many of the time our soldiers have accepted the martyrdom, like in the Pulwama, many of our soldiers were died very cruelly. Let us see the what are the social effect of the terrorism. So terrorism lead to disintegration of the nation. Terrorism create feeling of fear and suspicions among the people because of their activities like a fear, robbery, violence, etc. Its effect is felt in the all age groups. Education suffer adversely in terrorism affected area. Because of this terrorism, the activities like a fear, robbery, and the violence, many of the peoples are affected, and it's also affect felt in all age group, small child to the old age. Education also suffered very adversely. Students cannot go to the school because of the fear. Even also their parents not send them to school. As a result of terrorism, mutual faith and feeling of brotherhood diminish. And because of this, what is the brotherhood between the people of different religion, different caste and creed, different reason, that is also become the distrust, and this will spread the hatred among each other. Many times it's lead to communal conflict and social arrangement are set into the fragment. Chaos and unrest is generated in the society. People cannot sleep peacefully. People cannot celebrate social functions with enthusiasm. As a result of it, interrelation connecting peoples are disrupted. And the people who are interrelation from the other caste, regions, and they can't make more trust on each other because of these types of the terrorist activity. Economic impact of terrorism. Now this is also badly effect on the economy too, because of the terrorism activities in the Kashmir. That Kashmir is yet not developed. Otherwise, Kashmir is the most beautiful state, province, region in the world, and that is why the many of the British also called, and they quoted, Kashmir is the heaven of the world. Because of terrorism, conducive atmosphere for development of business and industry is not created, so the business and trade relations are adversely affected. While any businessmen start their business in this region, so the terrorists may kidnap him, her. They ask for the extortion money. If he she not give them money, then they shoot, they murder, they kill, they kidnap. So how these kinds of the business may also start the business in this region? It is not possible. Due to the negative effect on business and industries, people migrate to another places. Now there is a no any possibilities of the business and the industries. That is why people also not get any employment. People also not people also become the unemployed. That is why people also migrate from one place to another place. Some terrorist organizations extort money from rich industrialists, employees, businessmen, and many of the terrorist organizations also extort. Means if you want to live in this region, you have to give us money, otherwise we will kill you. This is a violation of live and let live principle. Terrorists are engaged in antisocial activities like drug trafficking and black money. As a result of it, socio-economical problems are created in the country. Because of these two antisocial activities, drug trafficking and black money, that countries is economically affected, badly affected. Terrorists destroy railway, radio station, roads, bridges, other government offices, etc. Crores of rupees have to be spent to re-establish them. Now terrorists are destroy these types of the public places, railways, radio stations, roads and bridge. If government have to re-establish them, so government has to be spent more than crore rupees, and that is not as easy as much they have to spend and reconstruct again. That is the reason also they could not develop easily. Government has to spend crore rupee for safety and protection, security. Now in these types of the region, for the safety of the people, government has to be sent there the army force, and if there is an army, so also for their maintenance there should be a money have been spent by the government. So more than crore rupees has to be spent by the government for the safety and protection. As a result of terrorism, state and national transportation industries, tourism industries have to suffer a great loss. And because of this, yet many of the Kashmiris are not developed. Kashmir is not developed properly because of the terrorism. Okay, so students, here is the our 20 chapter is completed our, and I hope you all of you understood about the what is the terrorism and what is the rebellion. Okay, complete write this exercise. If you not understand any questions or any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, bye bye, take care.